The dehumanizing discourse of migration in Australian politics, a looming election threat. Australia's upcoming election is casting a long shadow, and the nation's political landscape is increasingly marred by a concerning trend: the dehumanization of migrants. Prominent voices, across the political spectrum, are fueling a divisive debate that risks undermining the very fabric of Australian society. This isn't simply a clash of policy. It's a battle for the soul of the nation, one waged through the cynical exploitation of fear and prejudice. Giridharan Sivaraman's urgent plea, a call for politicians to cease the dehumanizing rhetoric surrounding migration, rings truer than ever. His warning serves as a stark reminder of the dangers of using migrants as political pawns in the lead-up to an election. The current discourse, far from being a healthy debate on policy, is rapidly descending into a dangerous game of scapegoating and blame. The coalition, for instance, has established a direct causal link between increased migration and the current housing crisis. This simplistic narrative, devoid of nuanced economic analysis and ignoring complex systemic issues, conveniently positions migrants as the primary culprits. Peter Dutton's pronouncements on 2GB radio, pledging to cut immigration due to Labour's alleged creation of the housing crisis by welcoming 1 million people over 2 years, exemplify this reductive approach. This rhetoric conveniently overlooks the broader factors contributing to the housing shortage, such as land scarcity, insufficient infrastructure investment, and speculative practices within the property market. The focus, instead, is squarely placed on migrants as the problem, not as individuals contributing to the nation's economy and cultural richness. Shadow Treasurer Angus Taylor's repeated questioning of Labour's immigration policy, highlighting the projected influx of over 1.8 million immigrants over 5 years, further underscores this worrying trend. The repetition serves to reinforce the message, subtly embedding it into the public consciousness, regardless of factual accuracy or comprehensive economic analysis. The implication, clear and unsubtle, is that these immigrants are directly responsible for the escalating housing crisis, a claim lacking evidence-based support and echoing the simplistic narratives of previous decades. Labour, too, has faced criticism for its handling of the issue. Independent Senator David Pocock and Greens Senator Marine Faruqi have both accused the party of scapegoating international students in relation to the housing crisis. This accusation highlights the broader problem: the tendency to focus on easily identifiable groups rather than addressing the systemic issues at play. International students, far from being the problem, are often vital contributors to the Australian economy, enriching the nation's cultural fabric and contributing significantly to various sectors. Targeting them as a scapegoat undermines the contributions of a vital segment of the population and fuels xenophobic sentiment. Immigration Minister Tony Burke's attempts to deflect the criticism back to the opposition, pointing to their refusal to support government legislation capping international students, underscores the political maneuvering at play. The debate, therefore, is not about finding effective solutions to the housing crisis. It's about political point scoring, with migrants bearing the brunt of the consequences. This inflammatory rhetoric extends beyond the housing debate. Recent months have witnessed a surge in anti-migration sentiment within Parliament, marked by calls from the coalition to implement a referendum, granting politicians the power to deport criminal dual citizens. The proposal is not merely about addressing crime. It is designed to appeal to the anxieties and prejudices of a segment of the population, further marginalizing already vulnerable groups. Coupled with proposals to alter the citizenship test, adding questions on antisemitism, the political maneuvering reveals a calculated strategy to tap into existing social divisions. Community groups have rightly condemned these policies, criticizing their exploitation of racial issues. The Australian National Imams Council's condemnation of the timing of these proposals as opportunistic further highlights the cynical political calculations at play. The case of Peter Dutton's Palestinian visa ban, labeled racist in Parliament by independent MP Zali Steggall, serves as a potent illustration of this toxic political climate. While Dutton denied the accusation, the fact that such accusations are even made in Parliament speaks volumes about the underlying tensions and the deeply divisive nature of the current discourse. Stegall's withdrawal of the remark, while seemingly conciliatory, should not overshadow the gravity of the underlying concern about the dehumanization inherent in such policies. The current climate demands a more thoughtful, nuanced, and evidence-based approach to immigration policy. Focusing solely on the negative aspects of migration, while ignoring its positive contributions, is not only unfair but also detrimental to Australia's long-term prosperity and social cohesion. The urgent need is for a shift away from divisive rhetoric and towards a comprehensive strategy that acknowledges the complexities of migration and addresses them responsibly and inclusively. The dehumanization of migrants is not a political game. It is a moral failing with potentially devastating consequences for Australian society. The upcoming election provides an opportunity for voters to demand a more humane and responsible approach to this critical issue. The future of Australia's social fabric depends on it.